morning, viewers. My name is Mr. Owen, and I'm going to take you through Mathematics N1. Right, it will be Module 4, which is graphs, and our topic today will focus on straight line graphs. Right, so at the end of this lesson, I want every learner to be able to construct a table of values. Then number 2, I want every learner to be able to draw the graph from that table of values. Right, now let's start by looking at straight line graphs. Right, so when we are talking of straight line graphs, these are graphs of the form y is equal to mx plus c. Right, where that m is the gradient of the line and that c is the y-intercept. Right, so we need to draw a straight line when we have a table of values. So I want us to consider a graph of y is equal to x minus 1. Right, that is a straight line graph. Right, so for us to draw such a graph, we need first of all to have what we call a table of values. So to construct a table of values, you need to put your x-axis and your y-axis on the table. So in this case, we are going to consider x as 0 and x as 1. Now, to find the values of y in that case, we will then say our y is equal to 0 for x minus 1. Then we get our answer as minus 1, which means y is going to be minus 1 when x is 0. Then again, we come to the same equation. We say y is equal to 1 for x minus 1. Then we get a 0. In this case, we now see that our y is going to become a 0 when x is a 1. This is what we call a table of values. Now, to draw the graph of y equal to x minus 1, we now need to have the y-axis and the x-axis as I am drawing right now. Then you go back to the table. We see that our x is ever positive, so we are going to have x0, which is somewhere there. Then we are going to have x being 1. We can put it there. Then for y, we have y0 and a y minus 1, which means we do have a 0 there and a minus 1. We can put it there. If you want, you can actually put a positive. Then you can also put a negative. Then to draw this graph, we now match these coordinates. So if x is 0, it is this point, and our y is minus 1, which means we are going to put a mark at that point. Then in the second instance, when x is 1, our y is 0, which means we are now having this point. Then we take a ruler, because the straight line graph, we join the 2 points. The graph that we have just drawn is the graph of y equal to x minus 1. So that's how we draw a graph when we are given a table of values. Right, now want to move on to another example. This is now a typical example where we have the graph of 2y minus 3x plus 2 being equal to 0. And in this case, you are given a table. You are given a table where x is minus 1, 0, 1, 2. Right. Then in that case, we are required, first of all, to complete the table. The question wants us to complete the table. Then number 2, to draw the graph. Draw the graph. Then finally, to name the graph. Name the graph. Right. So that is the person that you want to look at. Right. So when you are given such a question in the exam, you should always remember we start by completing that table, substituting the values on the question. So I'll write solution here. Right, our equation is 2y minus 3x plus 2 is equal to 0. Now we want to know what will be the value of y when x is minus 1. So it means 2y minus 3, then you put minus 1 plus 2 equal to a 0. So 2y will be plus a 3 plus a 2, we say this will be equal to a 0. In other words, 2y plus 5 is equal to a 0, or 2y is equal to minus 5, divided by 2, divided by 2, our y will be equal to minus 2, 5. We come and put minus 2, 5. Then we move on to say, what if our x is a 0? This will be a 0, then plus a 2 equal to a 0. So 2y will be equal to minus 2. I just threw that 2 to the right hand side since this is now a 0. Divided by 2, divided by 2, our y in this case is equal to a negative 1. We come and we put the negative 1 there. Right, we continue, complete our table. Right, now when x is a 1, we now have 2 minus 3 multiplied by 1 plus 2 equal to a 0. So 2y minus 3 plus 2 is equal to a 0. Or 2y is equal to, right, if you say minus 3 plus 2, we get a minus 1. If that 1 jumps, it becomes a positive 1. Then we divide by 2, divided by 2. Our y in this case is equal to a half, or a 0.5. We write it there as 0.5. Then, if now our x is equal to a 2, we've got 3 times 2 plus 2 equal to a 0. So 2y minus 6 plus 2 is equal to a 0. In other words, 2y is now equal to a 4. Because we are saying minus 6 plus 2, it's a minus 4, that 4 jumps. So in this case, our y is going to be a 2. So when x is 2, y is 2. What we have just done, we have answered item 1, which said we should complete the table. Now we want to move on to the second item, which requires us to draw the graph from the table that we have just constructed. Please note, if you get a wrong table, your graph won't come out. So when we complete the table, we need to be accurate. So to draw the graph, it should be preferably done on a graph paper so that you use the boxes provided. Now, we can see that for x we have got a negative 1 up to a positive 2. So we can put our negative 1 there so that we have got a positive 1 and a positive 2. For y, sorry. Then we can even go up to 3, doesn't matter, because it's just a matter of loving. Right, then for x we do the same. We have a 1, we have a 2, we have a 3, we can have a negative 1 in that direction. Now we want to put these points. It would be much nicer if it's on a graph paper, because the points will just be matching at the corners. So when x is minus 1, right, this is the point, y is negative 2 and a half. So if this is 2 and this is a negative 3, I would take my negative 2 and a half to be at that point. Then I can just put a dotted line to show where they meet. Then when x is a 0, I have got a y as a negative 1. So this is the point I mark. When x is a 1, I have got y as a 0.5. So we've got a 0.5 and a 1 somewhere there. Right. So we've got x, it's a 1, then y 0.5, we mark. Then 2, we've got 2. So 2 and a 2, somewhere there we mark. Then after that, we've marked 1, 2, 3, 4 points as they appear on the table. We join them, the straight line. Use a ruler, then that graph is 2y minus 3x plus 2 is equal to 0. So we have answered part 2. Then the last part is saying name the graph. So obviously, because now this is a lesson on straight line graphs, this is a straight line graph. Right, so you name it as a straight line graph. So that is that for today. Until we meet again, thank you.